All right, everybody, Mr. Skunk back with you. We're going to do a little session on breeding and paintbrush pollinating, if you will. Okay, so you got a strain you like, whatever it is, doesn't matter. You got a male and a female, and you want to make seeds with it, or whatever you want to do. You want to apply male pollen to a female. There are a couple of ways. One is air pollination, which is natural, happens out in nature. That's how we have cannabis today. The other way is a more controlled way, based on indoor growing, which is what we're here for. So first, you obviously want a couple of things. You want your plants. Here's the female. There's the male. So I don't do free air pollination, only for the fact that I don't have the ability to waste an entire room for pollination. So you have to be more selective. Pulled this here Carnage female out of flower. My flower room's just over here behind me, and my bedroom is over here, which is the light shining on my face. So what I've done initially, well, first, Carnage is Ed Rosenthal Superbud, Hindu Kush, and now Grape Widow. Well, combined, it's Grape Widow. So what I did was I got males and females. I found the best male, the one that looked the most robust, had a little bit of trike production in veg on a lot of the leaves, real stinky when you rubbed them. So that was some of the biggest indicators. It was like, this guy should be a keeper. So what I did is I put him in veg, or excuse me, took him out of veg, put him in flower for a couple of weeks, and then pulled him out and ran him in veg for another week and a half. And what happens is, during that transition in flower, what he'll do is he'll start to pop his pollen sacs, and at about the 2-week point is when, just before they start to open, so you actually don't get any other females pollinated. Pull them out and bring them in here, and put them in here, and he'll continue to open and drop all his pollen. What I do is I take like a piece of cardboard and I put it around like one of the center branches. Well, you know, if you have a center branch or one of the main branches, you can do a few of them if you want. If you have a multi-branch crown type situation where you have a lot of main colas on top. And then what he'll do is he'll drop all the pollen, and instead of falling on a lot of the leaves, what he'll do is he'll fall on the cardboard. You pull the cardboard off, and you can gently shake it into, say, like a piece of paper or a playing card or something like that, and then dump it into your container like this. And then what you do, just take your male, little paintbrush. This is, you know what, I couldn't even tell you what size it is, but it's a very small one. I'll hold it up. I don't know if that really helps or not. If you can read it. I don't know much about painting, especially craft painting, so I was given this by somebody, doesn't matter who, but it was very nice of them, because this is a perfect one. As you can see, the tip, it's very small, very fine, flexible. So just take it, apply, or just dip. You just want to dip a little bit. Oh, the other thing is, if you have your fans going, I highly recommend shutting them off. I have one on way up there just to keep the air from getting stagnant in here. But close doors to your flower room if you're in the vicinity. Shut your main fans off, or not your main fans, but your sub fans. You know, any rotating, oscillating fans, I'd recommend shutting them off, at least for just a little bit, so while you do this, you don't scatter pollen everywhere. And plus, it helps the majority of the pollen just sit right on the plant. So anyways, what you do, little dip, you'll get, I don't know if you can even really see this, but there's barely a little bit right on the tip there. And what you do, and I'll close this, and what you'll do is you can literally take any part that's budding, okay, where it's starting to show pistils and calyxes. What I do is I just paint. Literally, it's like painting. So what you want to do is you want to try and cover. Try to keep from like flinging and splattering, that kind of thing. Just gently brush, Try not to let the bristles of the brush fly all over the place, because then that can lead to just wasting pollen. So you want to make sure that you get as much pollen on the plant as you can, depending on what your seed production is going to be. So this one's Carnage. I'm trying to make some seeds available to all the cephalic Carnage fans, and you know, other fans as well. This fine product here. So this is going to be an inbred product, or line, if you will. So it'll be really nice. I'm not doing any back crossing with it because I want to keep everything the same, and not have too much of one or another. So now what you can do is you do exactly what I just did on each and every spot that you want to pollinate. If you want to do just a little bit, then you do just a little bit, and you'll produce, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 seeds or whatever, just based on that little paintbrushing. So you don't want to glob it. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot. I'm sure if I was to take what is left on this and brush another one, there'd probably be enough on here to pollinate that with a few seeds. So just keep that in mind. You don't need to, you know, get a big huge dip on there and let it sit on top. That would be a huge waste, because the pollen will sit there until there's enough pistils and calyxes to draw in the actual pollen itself, because it's one pollen per calyx. So outside of that, it's a waste. So just remember that. And the pollen can actually go bad if it has to sit there for too long a period of time under the light and you know, temperatures or whatever, some of the inconsistencies that can happen inside your flowering room that can degrade the pollen itself, and which means you won't get any seeds, or if you do, you'll get half-assed seeds, which may harm, or who knows. It could be any list of things. So it's always best to stay on top of it as much as you can. The other thing is, most of you may or may not know that male plants actually flower about 5 or 6 times faster than female does. So you want to keep that in mind. A male plant will flower at about 2 weeks. So what does that mean to you when you go to pollinate? Well, it's very important. You don't want to go and pollinate a plant that's already got nice fat chunky buds on it, because there won't be enough time. You won't get actually a good seed. So you kind of keep the whole natural process in mind, that outside, when these two plants are growing right next to each other, they'll grow exactly the same, and the male will actually start to flower and pollinate the female at the time that it's right. So the plant will then finish out. So if it's a 8 or 9 week plant, you want to be pollinating it at about week 2, 2.5, not much later than that, because, you know, 3+ weeks you start running into not enough time, because there is a process. The male brings part to it and the female brings part to it, just like with human reproduction. So if the pollination is too late, you'll have an imbalance. The female will still want to keep going. Well, the female will finish out first, and the male will still want to keep going. So if you will, I mean, it's not exactly like that, but you kind of get the idea. If the female's done, you know, flowering, there's nothing left. She has nothing left to offer, and the seed will be as it is when you harvest it. So as far as letting it go over, who knows? It's not something I've tried before. If you want to, by all means, go for it. But for the most part, keep those in mind as far as those timelines, and you'll end up with a really nice, healthy seed lot that should give you really nice buds. So, you know, again, paintbrush, calyxes, pistils. As you can see, you can kind of see that they're just now starting to flower a little bit, just a little, not much. Pistils and calyxes popping up. So that's when you want to start hitting it a little bit. And if you want to do it over a couple of day period, that's okay also. But again, I wouldn't wait too long. That I have done. Seeds came out unfinished, white, light, whatever. Even if they were dark, if they did pop, you know, you start running into problems. So just stick on that timeline, and for the most part, you should be okay. You'll have a nice, healthy seed lot, and that's that. If you have any other questions, or any questions at all for that matter, go ahead and feel free to leave them on the YouTube page or my Facebook page, whatever the case may be. I'll answer them the best I can, and if there's enough, maybe I'll make a new video based on those questions alone. So hopefully this helps a lot of people with keeping your own stuff if you want, or even making your own stuff and getting it out there and trading it with guys like me, you know. So that's it. Mr. Skunk, I'm out.